Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. Shir sponsor Lui Nishma Zayim Yakashom Now Basitzchok. We're holding in Shavuos Daf Gimel. We're starting the base on the bottom. The truth is that we should have yesterday continued a little on because the next few drashas in Mamish almost repetition of the previous drasha. So the first drasha we learned was a drasha of Ganav. And Ganav we learned from the pasuk that says the Kol Varpesha, etc. And then, we got a Kefil Haba Chavisha. Now we're going to the show. I said it's really one drasha. It says more now, Sher Mechina Reina Nishba. How do I know the Sher Mechina is on Nishba? It is on Nishba for what? For Karka. Right? Remember, the Mishnah is telling us, the following you don't do Shul. What is that? You don't do Shul on Avodim, on the Shtaros, on the Karka, Gedeshers. So how do you know the Kabei Sher Mechina is the same thing? Taf Mem Gimel Daf on top. Ki'itein ish el reyehu kla. He gives to Rei whatever he gives him. Kesavu kelim prat, money or vessels. Lishma chazav kol. Kal padu klali tadei kela prat. Not pad mefurish tova hamitalta v'guvam momoin. Avakol dor mitalta v'guvam momoin. Has to be movables. Yetzuka kol shem mitalta. The same drasha we had yesterday. Karka is not movables. So avodim ukshuka kores they compare to kakores. To start shopping and go for moment and not actual money, they just give you money. Hagdish Reuksiv, again it says right here. That's the Josh of Shemechino. When it says Sachar very similar Misham, you know, Tonabon. Second Pasha speaks about Shemasecho. Kiteni Shereu Cloud. Chamor Shor Se Prat. That's already the details. Donkey, ox, sheep. Kol Beimul Lishmor, Chazavekol. Call about the cloud, the same call about the cloud, same idea. It says only Dover She Mital to go for a moment. And from there you take out these three. Ad Hegdish Reik. See the same Mahalach goes over here as well. The same. Says more now. Says Rameir, there's some things that are like Karka and Karka. So if you remember, we spoke about the trees that have the vines have grapes in it. So the more now, as we mentioned briefly in the Mishnah, as they go through the Mahalach, the same Mahalach and the question and answer that we had in Maseches Gittin. The more says. You want to tell me, according to Amir, if it's not the actual land, it's the trees, they're connected to the land. So it's not doesn't have din of a karka, that's why the vines are different. So why am I talking about a tree that has fruits? Talk about a tree that does not have fruits. Because it's not connected, it's not the ground itself. We talk about Rameir agrees things are connected to the ground, have it like the ground. But what about grapes that are about to be harvested? Rameir saw that kibbutz is down. They're considered to be cut off. When it's Savri, the kibbutz is down, they're not considered to be cut off. And Yemele what? And Yemele, they are, when they're connected to the ground, but still not detached, they're connected, fully ripened, but not detached, what do they have? And here you have to, because the Tosis tells us, you should know, there's some things it's very clear that there's no discussion. What is it? Leinan Shabbos. Everybody agrees it's also. Can you go on Shabbos and take a grape out of the tree? If it's not tolish, no, not tolish. It's not tolish.
You're disconnecting.
Right, toilish. You're not allowed, even though it's fully ripened, even though it doesn't need the karka. It's still. Megabi Shabbos, you can not take it.
Climb the tree.
So let's say not climb the tree. Let's say go and just pull from the tree. Can I do it? No. That's Legabe Shabbos. That then says Tosis Legabe and Legabe Baal Chayiv. The din is that considered to be the Kula Betzuris. Now, it brings Mechlekes regarding that. Baal Chayiv can take only from land. You can't take from Metaltalim. So is that considered Metaltalim? It's not considered to be. It's considered to be Metaltalim for Baal Chayiv. You can't take it. So and only in our case, it's a Mechlekes. Second one, has to be measured. So in the Mishnah brought an example, if he came and said, I gave you a full house, so you tell him, I don't know what full house means. Full house. What does it mean? So that's not considered to be measured. So he told him, I'm giving you a full house. Full house? What's a full house? He told him this house. Full. So, I know what usually you fill up in the house. You know, it's the normal amount you put in this house. So why did later the next part of the Mishnah? We argued, what is the next part of the Mishnah? If they specified a amount, one said I'm filling it up until the Z. The Z is the beam that comes out of the roof. The other one says no, until the window. So then it's specific, and then it has a din of midah mishka. So if that's the case, so why have to say it? Just say that's only by stam. By zeh, why have to tell me window and this? So that mashra, the by zeh doesn't work. He has to say the mishkal and moed the mishkal. What does the Rava come to say? So what about the bayzeh? So Tais brings over here two explanations explaining Rava. One explanation, he says, when I say a full house, what does it mean full house? Does it mean filled up to the ceiling? Does it mean all the closets are filled up? What does it mean filled up? It's not definable yet. It's not so clear. I gave you a full house. What does a full house mean? What? Right? That's answer one. That's explanation two of Taisus, and that's a big discussion in the Rishonim, is that Rava here says that you need to say the measurement. If you say a full house, even though we know what it is, it's not good enough. You have to say what it is. I'm giving you a house filled up to the roof. Giving you a house filled to the window. I have to come and tell you what it is. I have to specify it in my lashon, even though I know what it is. That's a bigger chiddush of Taisus. Tarikav say the Rava, rewrite to Rava, that a house, he says this house is not good enough. Kur tvor li biyotcho. Here's, I'll give you a kur tvor. Faloim en lecha biyodi pater. He says, give you a kur tvor. He says, no, I don't want your kur tvor. So he's pater. Now, according to this girsa, this is really not a guess so much to the moed mikzas, because it's not moed mikzas at all. He denies everything outright. The other girsa we have over here, en lecha biyodi lekitnis. He says you have kur tvor. He says I have kidneys. We're not talking about measurements. So the reason he's potter is because to have a big lantern. You have only a small lantern, potter. Why? He has a big lamp. A small lamp. They're not speaking about the same thing. It's a lamp. But it's not a moed mikzas. He's talking about the big one, he's talking about the small one, two different things. You have a very large belt. No, that's not true. You have a small belt, pot. Again, the same things at the same time. Says you have a kurtvor. He says, no, I have only half a letech is half a cord. Because he's talking about exact measurement, and he's saying what he makes us. No, but there's a litrin yesh biyotcho. And lechabiyod lebas chamesh litrin. You have a minor of 5 that carries 10 liters of oil. So no, it's only 5 liters of oil. Chai, we'll see in a moment why. Why is that two different things? Kol shedover loyim menechai v'shiterim v'dover shemido u'v'mishkol v'sheminyon v'yardu v'dover shemido v'shemishkol v'sheminyon. Giving you a cloud. Cloud is has to be measured. So we're close to double asuyimai. The way it comes up for Taisus, and this is really a duke of a kivega over here. What the Gemara is telling is, the first sentence of the Brisa is not talking about mido mishkol minyan. It's talking about things that you're not mashatana lo erdula. I asked for this X. You told me why. Moed mikzas. I said X. You said half X. But to say why, that's not what we're doing mido mishkol minyan. So what is the summary mido mishkol minyan? Let's go to add something new. What's going to add? Asuyimai lav asuy bayit zemole. It's going to say that a full house not good enough, like Rava. Okay, so this extra lusha is for that. Now I ask the Gemara, well, a big menorah is small menorah is not. Why? Because it's two different items. I claim one thing, it's two different things. Same thing if I tell you I have 10 liter oil lantern, and you say no, I have a 5 liter lantern. Two different lanterns. One is a 5, one is a 10. That's also not the same thing. The kamoidela mino. No, we're talking about a parts. It's like a buildup, like a pieces. So he said, it's like a Lego. You have a menorah. He says, I gave you the menorah with all 10 pieces. He said, no, you gave me only 5 pieces out of the 10. So that's how much weight it makes us. We're talking about the same item. So if that's the case, and you're trying to tell me I can talk about a case where it's pieces, I can say the sitting by the belt. If you look at me, bit the life, this we found when we spoke about the concept of life. It means a belt also could be, when a person did a diet, he had a smaller belt, and he gained weight, he used to add some, life. It means you attach to it another stage. So you could be the same one, cut into pieces. Elder life, laktani. We're not talking about life. Chanami b'shechuliyus laktani. So again, what's the 10 and the 5? No, I'm not talking about chuliyus. But when I have a menorah that has a base kibble, receptacle of 10, I can shave it and make it smaller. So therefore, it's considered to be, you gave me a 10 one, says no, you gave me a 5, it's considered to be moedim and mikzas, because it could be the same menorah. I'm asking, here's a big chiddush, because I'm not telling you the same menorah. I'm just telling you the menorah that you gave me was a 5 one. But we're saying because I asked for more, and you're saying on the same item, or potentially the same item, that's less, that's going to be moedim and mikzas. I just have to have an ability, an option for it to be the same item, and the raise moedim and mikzas, and that's the chiddush over here in the Gemara.
That's because it's made out of parts. You can't say the same.
No, it's not made out of parts. That's what was chayzable. Chuliyos was answer number 1. Chuliyos is not an answer. Why? Because if you talk about parts, the belt should be the same thing. So it's not a parts. There's one big menorah, but the menorah that has a very big big base kibble, very receptacle to get 10 liters, I could shave it down and make it 5 liters. So when you say 10, I say 5. It's not a different item. It could be the same item itself. Just you shaved it down. Maybe I didn't mean it. That's the chiddush over here. Because it could be the same item, that's good enough to be moedim mikzas at the time. Anything that could be. Now, if you just to go to see it's glad to see this behavior inside. The first Gili and Ashas on the right. The Gemara says, "Umay shna menor gdol menor ktan." So it says behavior loshin zem mukshu. It's a little hard discussion. Bezeh ubezeh pashut. Loshin zem mukshu. Ha bezeh pashut the patur. To love those shemito. Without telling you big, small, there's no exact measurement. Koshka tesis. Right? A copy in Lishto my Shotamur. Says when the Gemara is asking about a menorah gedol menorah, it's not an exact measurement. And we just said according to Rava, you have to, it's not, especially according to the second Shah thesis, but the house, it's not because it doesn't have a measurement, but I have to say it in my mouth. So if I didn't say I spoke about menorah gedol menorah ketana, you're not telling me what it is. So that's a question here, and he stays with the question. Okay. So the Mishnah. How malves chaveiro lamashkoin v'over lamashkoin. Now this you may recall because as we saw it was a Gemara in Bovetzi and the more brought it. Gemara says someone who lends his fair not a mashka. V'over the mashka. Now the mashka is gone. Now, well, let's go through it. The mashkoin is collateral to cover for the loan, right? So Reuben gives Shimon, he lends him $100. And Shimon gives in return to Reuven a mashkoin. He tells him, hold on to that mashkoin. This will be collateral for me to give it back to you. Take my watch. Right? Now. So he says, now what happened? Reuven, the lender, loses the watch. Now let's see the case. First case of the Mishnah. He says, I give you a loan of $100. And the watch was worth $50. So yes, $50. I'm not asking because I lost the watch. But give me $50. And he says, what are you talking about? The watch was worth $100. You lost the watch. That's your loan. That's what Shimon tells Reuven. So the question is, what is the value of what he gave him? Reuven tells Shimon, I lend you 100. I took a collateral of 50. You still owe me 50. Shimon says, no, I give you a collateral of 100. What's it in? Potter. Why is he potter? He's denying everything. He's no way to make this. He says, you owe me $50. He says, I owe $0. No way to make this. Sell v'ticho olov v'shekel ha'ashaveh. V'lo imelok yisel v'ticho olov v'shloisha dinar ha'ashaveh. right? A sela is shtei shkalim and arba dinar. So comes Reuben and tells Shimon, I gave you a $100 loan, you gave me $50 as a mashka. He says, no, I gave you $75 as a mashka. So Reuben says, you still owe me 50. Shimon says, I owe only 25. Moedei makes us. You say I owe 50, he's only 25. Says the Gemara, Chayov, what a shvur? A shvur, it's Chayov a shvur. Why? Moedei makes a tiny Yeshiva. That's first part of the Mishnah. First part of the Mishnah is the Reuben is going against Shimon. The lender is going to the bar and says, you still owe me money. Now you can go to the opposite case. Selel v'tanya Allah v'shtayim hayashove. Shimon comes to Reuben and says, whoa, that watch was a $200 watch. You lent me 100, you owe me 100 now. Reuben says, no, it was $100. I lent you $100. It's a wash. But why? Shimon is claiming you owe me 100. Reuben says, I owe you 0. No more to make this. Comes Reuben, Shimon to Reuben says, I gave you a mashka of 200 and you gave me a loan of 100. I gave you 100. It was worth 125. 5 dinrim is a sell and a quarter. That's what it was. I owe you $25. I owe you $25, not $100. Says Moedei Mikzas, Chayav. Umin Nishba, who's going to the one who's give the shvur? Misha Pikodoi Etzloi. The one who's holding on to the Pikodoi. Who is that? The lender. Why? Why the lender should do the shvur? Always. We'll see the Gemara in a moment. Where's the Chiddush over here? Because maybe he's going to do a shvur. The other one will do a shvur. And then the guy say, oh, I tricked you. Here's the Pikodoi. And therefore what? Maybe it will be Nishbal HaShekel. That's a rational. Rabbi Yechezkel says, Tosis brings it over here. So, you got the corner for Rishoyim? Yes. If he's Nishbal HaShekel, it's his fault. So he says, no. Maybe, the way the Rach says it, maybe, no. You'll come out with the Pikodin, and it will be the truth. But the Shul of Atala. He gave him a shvur to tell him what the value of the Pikodin is, but maybe the Pikodin is in his pocket. So therefore I say the Malve, the one who's holding on to the Pikodin, he should do the shvur. Because if he has the thing, he will give it out. If not, that's the shvur. In other words, not that he's going to lie, but why do you do a shvur for no reason? I want to try to avoid shvurs if I don't have to. Okay, says the Gemara that I'm dealing with base. Ahai. What's ahai? The last sentence of the Mishnah. What is the last sentence of the Mishnah? Who's going to do the shvur? The lender. Which part of the Mishnah we're talking about? Remember, the first part of the Mishnah, there's 4 parts of the Mishnah. The first 2 is talking when the lender is coming to be teveya the borrower. The second part of the Mishnah is the borrower is coming to be teveya the lender. So what case you talk about? The same for the Mishnah, the Mishnah, the Mishnah. The borrower is coming to the lender. It says, you owe me money. In the last case of the Mishnah, what is the Mala doing? He's Moedei Mikzas. Says, I don't owe you a full thing. I don't owe you 100, I owe you 25. So who's the one who's Moedei Mikzas? The lender. The Malvik. So of course he should do the shvur. Always the one who is Moedei Mikzas does the shvur. So Mishnah says, the lender should do the shvur. Of course he should do the shvur. He's the one, he's the defendant. Always the defendant does the shvur. Says the Gemara, Amash. What?
Also because he's holding.
Yeah, I'm saying, but we have to get to that. Just stop. Any defendant has to do a shvur. El Amashur la ratio. Chenama v'chiva Rav ratio. Chenama v'yochanan ratio. What is ratio? The first part of the Mishnah. They want to clarify a little bit more. My ratio, save for the ratio. Meaning case number 2. Why? Because case number 1, there's no shvur. What's case number 1? The Mal that comes to the Levi and says, you owe me, and he said, I don't owe anything. There's no shvur. But case number 2, which is the save for the ratio, number 2 is the second part of the first half. So here the Mal that comes to the Levi and tells him, Levi, you owe me money. The Levi says, Moedei Mikzas. I do owe you some, not the whole thing. So who should do the shvur meikar din? The Levi. Go to the Ma'av because of the end of the Mishnah.
What's the whole shakatari of this Gemara? It's Pashut.
Because it says in the Sefer. It says after the Sefer, that's the Chiddush. Pashut Pshat is talking about the Sefer, say no, it's the ratio. So I can say the ratio, Sel v'ticha lo shekel hashove, v'ala im eloi ki elo, Sel v'tina lo shleisha dunam hashove. That's case number 2. He says, you gave me a loan of You gave me a loan of 100. I gave you back a pikadon of 75. I owe him 25. I owe him 50. The chayav the shvua gabe loive. Shvua is supposed to be of the loive. The shakur abonim loive v'shadru amav. They took it from the borrower, give it to the lender. Says the Gemara, the hashta the Omar Avashi. Now the Avashi said, "Bo matzio the kaimun zen nishbo sheinu b'shusoy the zen nishbo kama shave." Now we have Avashi said no chiddush. Instead of just doing a shvua on one of them, show me the borrower, I give it to the lender. I say no, lender should do a shvua. It's not by me. That's so you know it's not there. Now that it's not by him, I tell the borrower, you tell me how much it's worth. So harikar minish batchilo. Who's the first shvua? First one should say, the lender should say, I don't have the pikadon. Why? Because maybe the other one will do a shvua and then you'll take out the pikadon. According to Rashi, you found out the shvua sheker. Maybe you trapped it, entrapped him. Or because of because he, it's a shvua of atol. Say, something more. We're going to start now the next sugyo goes into the next daf. Be'ez Hashem, we're going to continue on Shabbos. You're expecting many to be here, Be'ez Hashem, at 5:50 p.m. We're work Gemara, Be'ez Hashem. We'll have a special seat for you, an honorable seat.
I heard you over the book,
You have a special seat.
We'll make place for you.
You're not invited. You have to go down there. But you...
I don't want to say how you want to see.
No. Says the Gemara, Amashwur, Haiman the Oizvei Alpha Zuzi Lechavei. Someone came and lent 1,000 zuz to his friend. Umishken le kato de maglo. He gave him the handle of the maglo. What's a maglo? The sickle, right? He cut off the tvur. It's a round thing. He gave him a handle of the maglo. A mashkin. Ovot kato de maglo ovot alpha zuz. So even though the kato de maglo, the handle, is worth very little, but still he lost 1,000 zuz. Why? Because the idea, we'll see in a moment, the idea is I'm giving you a full mashcoin for the mashcoin's replacement of this. That's the das. Aval, partik asosi, loy. But if it's two handles, no. Because once I give you two handles, I'm showing you that I'm not giving you one mashcoin for the full loan. Even two. If I give you, it's 1,000, so really what I'm doing is splitting it half and half. 500 is guaranteed by one, and 500 is guaranteed by the other. But if I'm giving you a handle, and a nischo is a piece of silver, no, because a piece of silver is already more like a coin. So there I'm giving you the actual value. Even by a piece of silver, ovad nisko, ovad palgo, ovad kato, ovad kuli. I'm giving you the piece of silver for a value of 50% of the loan. So in other words, what the Gemara is saying right now, Be'ez Hashem and Shabbos, to get into it more BU, but what the Gemara says was the idea, if I'm giving you a pikadon, that's in lieu of the full loan, even though it's worth much less. But that's like that. It's like almost like a Gemir's das. What's the Gemir's das? This is my guarantee for the loan. You're holding on to it for me to give it back to you. If you don't have it, I'm not giving it back to you.
So why even take it?
What?
Why even take it? The Malva puts himself in a bad position by taking a worthless mushroom.
Because at least he has something.
Maybe trust.
Yeah, but it's nothing. But if he loses that, he's taking the gamble.
Right. Okay. So we have to go back. We have to be mad a little more. Just let's see first of all, push out the more.
If the life says keep my mashkin and I owe you the money,
he won't want to do it, right? He's basically, it's almost like a deal. If you give it back to me, you get back your money, right? It's like when you go to the you go to kayaking. They say, give me your passport. You get the passport. You give back the key. I'll give you back the passport. It's not that it's the value, but it's like an exchange. Let's go to Tanan. Look at our Mishnah. Sell it with Ticholov Shikala 1 second. Here, it's not worth the full amount. You still have the rest. That's the whole discussion. You accepted it. You accepted the mashkin in lieu of the law. Says the Gemara, Masnisin b'de parish, Shmuel b'deloi parish. So here we have that's argues. Argues means our Mishnah is talking about when he was very clear cut. He said, what is Masir Parish? He said, I am going to, the deal is that if I give it back, that we made a deal. Sorry, the Mishnah is that we're very clear that this is not in lieu of the loan. This is a partial payment. You can give it back to me, but it's not in lieu of the loan. But if I did, stama is in lieu of the loan. That's how our Gemara says. Right, Tosis says the opposite Girsa. Shmuel's with the parish that we specified. This is in lieu. I'm giving you this watch for me. I know it's not worth a lot of money, but I got it from my great grandfather, and it's very important for me. If you lose this, I'm not giving you anything back. And with light parish, so you go based on the value. So the question is, what is the stomach? That's the long case in the bottom here. What's the stomach? Is the stomach that I'm giving you back? That I'm giving you the full. You're going based on value or not? That's the discussion in the two your source of the Gemara, and that's the beginning of the sugya. The sugya goes into the next daf, which will Be'ez Hashem address on Shabbos. Have a wonderful Shabbos, everybody.